Go ahead and just share his heart with you now. What's up, y'all?
Hey.
So today I'm going to talk a little bit about something the Holy Spirit's been speaking to me, and it goes along with Aaron's message a little bit this morning, where he was talking about how the Lord guides us and how he communicates with us. It seems like lately he's really been speaking to me through nature and just the outdoors and what I see. And most of you probably know I love the outdoors. I like hunting and fishing, and my dad and I have been enjoying the outdoors since as far as I can remember. There's plenty of stories that were good and bad, some bittersweet, for my dad at least, because usually I'm the one shooting the deer, and he's the one sleeping. And then he has to carry it out of the woods. But yeah, one time it was like right there at the end of a hunt, and I looked over at him, and he was probably about to go to sleep, and I looked up, and there was a deer that just walked out of the woods, and it was about 280 yards away, and I looked over at him, I said, "Dad, can I shoot at it?" Because, I'm ready to get a deer. I'm in like 7th grade, and that's all I want to do is get a deer. And he's like, "I don't know, you're probably going to miss it. That's pretty far out, so you better not take that shot." And he's like, "If you want to, I guess you can." And I like tonight, I had procrastinated a little bit in my practice. And I'm sure my mom can attest to that, because she was probably a little stressed out this week. But I hadn't practiced at all from that distance shooting, and I guess I got a little lucky, and I aimed a little high, and I hit the deer right where it was supposed to, and then I'm sure my dad was like, "Great, now we got to go out there and get that deer." So we had to drive all the way down there, and I had to go in the woods, or we looked for like 15 minutes for where the deer went, and we finally found it. And Dad actually told me he was praying that we'd find it, because he didn't know where it was at. He knew I'd probably be upset. We get the deer, and we get to the truck. He says, "All right, we're going to lift up there on 3. You ready?" And I said, "All right, yeah, let's go." And we grab one. He grabs one side, and I grab the other leg. And right when we go to leg, he goes, "On 3, 1, 2." And all of a sudden, I hear him yell. He's like, "Oh, my back!" And his back's pulled. So for the rest of the trip, I was skinning the deer, and he was sitting on the bucket trying to help me. But there's all kinds of good times me and my dad have had. Anyways, some of you don't even realize that one of my first words was actually fish when I was little. And I had one of those little talking bass that you hung on your wall, and when you press the button, it'd sing to you. And I guess I've been fascinated ever since, because it still never really gets old when I reel one in. But basically, no matter what, I go fishing, or hunting, even in the bad times, I go fishing. A few weeks ago, I had been really struggling, and I was frustrated because I was not seeing the miracles the way I would like to. And I was having thoughts like, why isn't this working? Maybe I've got something wrong. And even thoughts questioning my beliefs and my faith. So I prayed to God. I said, "God, help me and reassure me, and help me to understand, what's going on. Even though all these thoughts are coming in, I'm just going to trust you and know you're going to take care of it." And after that, I went fishing again. And while I was fishing, God had already started to reassure me throughout that week. And he reminded me of all the awesome things he's done for me. He showed me all the times that he's provided and cared for me. He just started to bring things to my mind to remind me of everything good that's happened because of him. And then another thing happened, and I started to look around, and I said, "Wow." And I looked around me, and I saw all the beautiful creation that our God made. And then I started to look for it, and as I, throughout that week, I knew I had to preach, but I didn't know I was going to preach on, and this is what kind of did it for me. I was looking around, and I just thought, man, this is awesome. And, I get to go outside and just experience God's creation every time I get to go out and do what I love. And I started to look, and I was reminded of how creative our God is. And Psalm 19:1 says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the skies proclaim the work of his hands." So I have some pictures up there, if you've seen, of times when I was out in his beautiful creation, and I'd like to share that with you while I speak. So we know God created heaven and earth and all the animals and everything on earth. We also know that God created all of us. In Genesis 1:26 tells us, God said, "Let us make mankind in our likeness so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." And So if you get from that, we realize God made us to be caretakers of this earth. And, a lot of times I always felt like I had to do something extravagant and something huge to glorify God, or I would have feelings as if I wasn't doing enough, or as if, God wasn't pleased with what I was doing and I had to do more. And I now know that those feelings aren't from God, and I know that I glorify God even in the little things that I do in this life. The big moments are going to happen, and I'm going to see big things happen in this life, and they are definitely going to bring God glory. All of us will. But so are the little things in life. All those little things that we have that we take for granted, or we glorify God in those things. Taking care of God's creation can be as simple as picking up trash when we see it left out. That's glorifying God. It puts a smile on his face when he sees us taking care of his creation. Even that is glorifying him, and he loves to see you take care of this wonderful world he's made for us. And, God's greatest creation was you and I. If you look at James 1:18, it says, he chose to give birth to us by the giving of his true word, and we, out of all creation, became his prized possession. He loves you and I so much more than we know. He made us in the likeness of him. In other words, he created us to be like him. And if you look at Genesis 1:27, it says, God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. In Genesis 5:1, it says, this is the written account of Adam's family line. When God created mankind, he made them in the likeness of God. And so, if we were made to be like him, that means he also made us to be creative. Being creative is another way of glorifying the Father. So today, I'm encouraging all of you, be creative like our Father. Enjoy those little things in life as well as the big things when they come. Even enjoying a hobby, just like hunting and fishing, like me, can glorify God. Being in his wonderful creation and thanking him for it is glorifying to the Father. And John 10:10 tells us, if I can find it, the thief comes to steal, to kill, and destroy, and I have come that they may have life, and for them to have it to the full. So God hasn't come, for us to just live dreary lives and be depressed and, have one good moment every once in a while. Our whole life is glorifying to him. When he's made us to glorify him, he's made us to enjoy this life. And I just pray that we can learn, that all of us can learn just to never take it for granted, because it's such a special gift from him. Enjoy it. That's one of the reasons Jesus came. Remember, the devil steals, kills, and destroys, not the Father. Those miracles that we are praying for and those needs we have, God will provide. Trust him and have faith, because he is a creative God who has come to save us from all sin and to give us life, a life that is full and glorifying to him. And living a life with God and for God is an amazing way to live. It is a life more abundantly. And what is so awesome about God is that he makes it so simple that when we just are being the creative beings he created us to be, we can change the world. We can bring the change that this world needs by loving God, loving each other, and loving life. And that's all I got for you guys today.